In the flipped classroom, the roles and expectations of students and teachers are different from those of a traditional classroom. For this reason, successfully flipping your class means addressing these different expectations early and often in both your communication with your students and how you design the activities and assessments for each class session.
First thing I do is give them a heads up. I send them a syllabus. I suggest they read the syllabus. It's got information, what the grade weights are, that I will be giving them a quiz first, that they'll be working in teams, and on the first day of class, we take a practice quiz on it. So we do a test run of what the class is going to be like.
On the first day of class, I usually come in and I have what I tell the students is a math assessment. I'd like them to do the following thing as I give them some instructions. And the reality is it's a completely nonsensical geometric drawing. I'm giving these instructions fairly rapidly, and they're rather anxiously trying to follow these instructions, not keeping up. And then I ask the students, okay, put your pencils down. We'll see if you've passed the assessment. But first I'd like you to go check with your neighbor and see if you have reconstructed your drawing correctly. As a group, you can talk amongst yourselves and give the best possible representation of this drawing. Pretty early on, they'll realize that the lecture form of the class does no good. They couldn't do that thing, so they're surely not going to get to the Schrodinger equation. I think that conversation goes over pretty well, and the students realize it's not on me to do better and better content presentation, it's on us to do a better job of helping coach them through the act of problem solving.
When you walk into a classroom with 400 students in it, you have a whole set of expectations that largely involve you being a passive recipient of a performance. So when I come in and I say, well, actually, I'm not going to do that, and I'm going to ask you questions that make you think and make you confront the fact that maybe you didn't do the homework, and asks you to talk to your neighbor, and you have to interact with someone you don't know, I'm asking them to do things that are really uncomfortable.
Some people will come in and say, I can't take this. This simply doesn't look like anything I've seen before. I had to try something new to do the class. They have to try something new to take the class. Everyone's got to try something new.
There was that kind of transition period that we faculty should be aware of. But I think part of why I was not as attuned to it is that I was going through my own kind of, oh my God, this is weird. We're all used to lecturing at this point. And suddenly you have to get into this mode where you're asking questions. That's what you're doing, is you're saying, okay, you guys, you've learned this content, now engage with it, now think about it. And that's hard. It takes a lot of energy to think about how to frame that, how to set up the class.
If you accept that in flipping a class, you're feeling kind of unbalanced, decentered, you've got to expect students to do the same thing. So you do the same things you do for yourself. It's okay. It'll work out. There's a plan in place. I've been thinking this through. It'll work. And just stay the course.
There's lots of roles we could talk about for ourselves as a faculty. There's this content thing. And again, that's the 1930s view of we're the only sources of content. People do have books, they have websites, there's lots of ways to get content, but there's some other roles for us, for faculty, that are truly unique. Modeler of how to solve problems, I think that's a unique role. Let me think. Okay, I think I got it right. I know what you're thinking though. It can be written with H bar C in the numerator. Having an important interaction with folks at a very critical juncture in their professional and personal development, that's a role I wouldn't give up very easily, and I'd like to see us all take on that role, because I think that's one of the really treasured things about being a faculty member at a university.